Hello, this is Dr. Shubha from Vasavi College of Education, Pondicherry. This is about creating an inclusive school. We are dealing with Unit 2, Part 1. So this is the fifth unit, Mainstreaming and Integrated Education. So here we will be learning about the meaning, characteristics of integrated education, equity, equality and quality of integrated education, sustainable practice, create positive and innovative outcome, safeguarding the needs of pupils with special educational needs. What is this integrated education? This refers to the education of children with special needs in mainstream settings. That is, integrating the children with the normal school. Disabled people of all ages or those learners with special educational needs being placed in the mainstream education settings with some adaptations and resources, but on condition that they can fit in with the pre-existing structures, attitudes and an unaltered environment. So this is the difference between inclusion and integration. We'll be learning about that. These schools educate children in an environment where self-esteem and independence are developed as priorities. MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, introduced integrated education in India through Integrated Education of Disabled Children (IEDC) scheme in collaboration with UNICEF, where Project Integrated Education for the Disabled was started in 1987. The approach was based on area project instead of an individual school approach. All the disabled children in a cluster were identified and put in all the schools of that area. The definition shows that mainstreaming of disabled involves integration of these children with other normal children with proper educational planning and programming, along with a support system specifically developed for the disabled, provision for counseling and a resource teacher to deal with the disabilities. Mainstreaming recommends an educational placement procedure and process in which disabled children are educated in the least restrictive environment. What do you mean by least restrictive environment? Means there will be adaptation, there will be some changes, but not fully as an inclusive model for their educational and related needs. Wang, the term mainstreaming is used to mean an integration of regular and exceptional children in a school setting where all children share the same resources and opportunities for learning on a full-time basis. That is, the disabled children should also be with the normal children. There won't be any changes. The teacher will be the same, but of course a teacher assistant will be there, but specially no allowances or no nothing will be given to these disabled children. Integrated education is the educational program in which exceptional children or learning disabled children, they attend classes with normal children on either a part or full-time basis. That is, now these children go to school from 9 to 4. They also should go to school from 9 to 4 or maybe a part-time. It is placement of the disabled children in ordinary schools with some specialized educational help and services. Not everything will not be changed, but maybe some help will be given to them. It does not necessarily integrate all the students who are away from the education for any reason, like physically, mentally, socially deprived, or because of any caste, creed, gender, race, ability, disability, lifestyle, etc. Now let us go in detail. Types of education. Regular education, that is regular schools from elementary school to senior secondary school. The school starts from 9 and ends by 4. Full-time school, teachers will be there, headmaster will be there, our principal will be there. So they will have all the activities, co-curricular, extracurricular and all that, and children are normal abled children. They can learn well with the teacher's support. Now special, as per the needs of children with disabilities. These are special schools, special education. So children with disability only go, so they will be given, according to their disabilities, some help will be, some support, additional support will be given to them. What is integrated then? Special and regular education. So these special children will also go, regular children will also go. They will be merged in a common setup. So there won't be any change in the setup. It's a common setup for both of them. But what is inclusive? Regular school. So in a regular school, they will accommodate children with a disability with some support services. So that is inclusive. So these are the four: regular, special, integrated and inclusive. So this is the difference between integrated and inclusive. Now this gives a clear idea about inclusive, integrated and special. Inclusive, all students welcomed by their neighborhood schools. Disabled children or learning difficulties children accepted in the ordinary regular school. Children with special needs accepted only in special schools. Now inclusive, equal opportunities for participation. Now here partial opportunities, here limited opportunities. Inclusive is subject-centered curriculum. This is subject-centered constructivist curriculum and methodology. This is special curriculum, cost effective, cost is not so high, high cost. So these are the differences. Special infrastructure is needed for inclusive, trained staff, but here no special infrastructure and no trained staff. But in special, trained professionals and infrastructure facilities are needed. Now this picture gives a very clear idea. Pursue inclusion means, you see, the green color, red color and yellow color all together. That is inclusion. All the children are together in a classroom. Avoidance, exclusion. See, the children who are in red, that is some impairment children, are sitting separately. Now here they are together, that is integration. Now here inclusion, see, in one classroom, that is in one circle, they are segregated, separate segregation. Now here tolerate integration. Tolerate integration means what? In the same classroom, they are sitting together. So there will be a single teacher. They are sitting together and the other normal children are sitting together. So this is tolerate integration. Now let's come to the next topic: equity, equality and quality of integrated education. Quality, of course, we know that what is the quality? The objective should be reached. Now equity and equality. Education is one of the most important means for development, of course. It is only through education one can aspire to achieve a higher status, position and emoluments. Every individual should have similar opportunities for getting education. That is, a right to education and education for all. All the children, they have to have education. Why? Because only through education you can get an employment and you can lead a successful life. So, equality of opportunity. This means give equal chance to every individual for the development of his capacity. The concept of equality of opportunity can be interpreted in two ways: horizontal equality and vertical equality. There are two things, horizontal and vertical. The horizontal equality treats all constituents in equal manner. That is, a 10th standard public exam you are writing. So all the students, whether they belong to SC, ST, General or OBC, BC, MBC, so everybody are treated in the same manner, and whoever is getting more than 60% first class, more than 70% distinction. It's like that. So it treats everybody in equal manner, horizontal equality. Whereas the vertical equality requires special consideration to bring about equality of opportunity. Now what is this? Special consideration should be given. Like when you write UGC NET exam, so for general they have to get some, maybe for instance let me tell you, for TET exam and all, general category they have to have 175, whereas SC ST like 40% or 50%. So there is a special consideration for SC and ST and OBC, and for general it is different. So you need to give some special consideration to bring about equality of opportunity. Is this equality of opportunity? No, it's not it. Economic status, gender disparity, regional imbalance, physiological differences, disparity between backward and advanced classes, non-availability of adequate opportunities, difference in mental and physical abilities, all these attribute to impending inequality of educational opportunities. So all this will hamper a person to get an educational opportunity. One of the most efficient educational strategies for government is to invest in education early and all the way up to upper secondary, that is high secondary. Governments can prevent school failure and reduce dropout using two partial approaches: eliminating education policies and practices that hinder equity and equality. Now this picture clearly tells you about what is equality and what is equity. Equality is everybody is standing on the same height of bench. So when there is an equality, the person who is shorter cannot see anything, because they all have the same pedestal of same length, and the first person is a tall one, so he can see the ground clearly. The second one, of course, like he can just peep into that. The third one, because of his height, he is very short, he cannot see anything. So this is equality. But what is equity? Equity is giving the other person more consideration. See, the shorter one is having two benches, so he is standing on two benches. Now he can see, the other person is not given anything. So this is like equity of opportunities and equality. This will speak about horizontal and vertical. All equity in education is a global issue influenced by many factors. 10 steps to equity in education: the design, the practice and resourcing. Organization for economic cooperations and development. Education plays a key role in determining how you spend your adult life. A higher level of education means higher earnings, better health and a longer life. So everybody should be given education, and for that equity in education is a must. Sustainable practice. The following are some of the sustainable practices of inclusive education settings. High expectations. All aspects of a student's educational programming should reflect high expectation. To do otherwise results in harm such as fewer educational opportunities, inferior literacy instruction, a segregated education, and fewer choices as an adult. So as a teacher should have high expectation on the student, only then they will rise up to the expectation. Now social relationships and natural supports. Students are in an environment that fosters friendship and encourages full participation in all the activities. Age appropriate general education classrooms should also be a sustainable practice. Quality, augmentative and alternative communication. Students who are unable to communicate using spoken or sign language have access to accurate and reliable augmentative and alternative communication supports and services. That is, additional support should be given to them. ongoing performance-based assessments. So these assessments will identify students' learning and communication styles, their preferences, their academic strength and weakness, and it needs for support. A positive and communal school climate leads to a greater sense of belonging. So school should have a positive and innovative climate. This will lead to more pro-social behaviors. Some have proposed that schools with positive and creative climate meet the needs of both teachers and students, who therefore become more attached to other school community members, more committed to the school's mission and goals, and more likely to internalize school's norms and rules. This process is key for all schools because students who are well integrated are not only more likely to have a positive learning experience, but are also less likely to engage in deviance and crime. So a positive and creative climate in school is much necessary so that students will learn properly and they will engage themselves effectively and usefully. Teachers and students with innovation and quality education in a proper learning environment will give an excellent societal culture. Now, safeguarding the needs of pupils. Children with special educational needs and disabilities can face a lot of additional safeguarding challenges. Schools should ensure their child protection policy reflect the fact that additional obstructions can exist when recognizing abuse and neglect in this group of children. These can include possible abuse such as behavior, mood, and injury relate to the child's disability without further exploration. See, whenever a child with a learning disability sits in an inclusive classroom, definitely the other child will not sit quiet. So there will be bullying and there will be ragging and all that. So possible abuse will be there. So the children's needs and children's safety should be guarded properly by the teachers. Being more prone to peer group isolation than other children. The learning disabled children will be in isolation, so they will not be in peer group. The potential for children with special educational needs and disabilities impacted by behaviors such as bullying without outwardly showing any signs. Communication barriers and difficulties will be there, and they will have difficulties in overcoming these communication barriers. To address these additional challenges, schools and colleges should consider extra support for children with the special educational needs and disabilities. Staff should be extra vigilant when working with young people with these needs and disabilities. What is safeguarding? Safeguarding and promoting the welfare of children, protecting the children from maltreatment, preventing impairment of children's health or development, ensuring that children grow up in circumstances consistent with the provision of safe and effective care, taking action to enable all children to have the best outcomes. Means the other children, normal children, should not bully the disabled children. The teacher has to safeguard the child. Who is a child? Everyone under the age 18. They need the right help at the right time to address risks. Remember, it could happen here where safeguarding is concerned. We are all responsible for the welfare of children and keeping the environment safe. So we should know what to do if a child tells you they are being abused or rejected or neglected. We should know who the designated safeguarding lead and talk to them as soon as we are concerned. So we need to act, we need to know how to act, we need to know the difference. The teachers and the parents, whoever is disabled child, they will face lots of problems in the neighborhood, in the school, in the family. with their siblings also. So the parent and the teacher or any other elder should definitely safeguard to the best interest of the child.